Welcome back to Ponchatoula Live, the show where we make it easy for you to connect with the people of Ponchatoula. I'm your host, Parker Layrisson, and today I've got a fantastic guest. I've been looking forward to this interview for weeks. It's not every week that I get to interview someone that's a real friend from real life, like the guest is this week, but it's also somebody that I really admire because she's always full of energy. It's a positive energy, and she just brings joy to so many people's lives in so many ways, professionally, personally. She's just wonderful. And as you'll learn probably throughout the interview, I owe probably the biggest joy in my life to her. That is my marriage. She introduced me to my wife. So, with no further ado, I bring the beautiful Emily Bougere Hatfield onto the show. Emily, welcome to the show. Why don't we
Thank you,
kick
Parker.
Well, thank you for being here. Why don't we kick things off with you telling our viewers and our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, I'm from Ponchatoula. My family has been here for well over 100 years.
Wow.
We really love being here, as I do, of course. My mom would say that I am sunshine with a little bit of hurricane. It would describe my personality. So, and she would be right.
I love that. I wouldn't
Yeah.
disagree with Miss Marcy on that or probably anything else. So
No,
she nailed it.
absolutely. Absolutely. I come from a wonderful family. I'm so blessed to have a huge family. If you don't know me personally, then you probably know one of my family members.
Oh, absolutely. There's no way to waltz through Ponchatoula without knowing somebody in your family. I think about it, my boys go to school. In fact, my little boy James, my second grader, he's buddies with two of your distant cousins, I guess. Leland Weed and
Oh,
and Rhett Landash Lee, or he's not really, that's not his full name, but you know what I mean. He's your cousin through the Landashes, and it's just a giant family, multi-generation. And of course, it all goes back to everybody remembers your grandfather, the great state representative, Dennis Abear, who was my dad's ball coach when my 84-year-old dad was, a little kid. So just a wonderful family, and we'll get into talking about plenty of them, I'm sure. But before we really dig into the individuals in the family, just tell us kind of your superhero origin story, if you will. Like you were born into Ponchatoula, like you say,
that's
a
right.
family that's been here since the 1800s. At a time when Dennis Abear is kind of king of the hill. He's the state representative. Your mom's a very popular teacher at Ponchatoula High School. You're the youngest of three, I believe.
I have a stepbrother too that he lives in
Oh,
Australia.
forgive me, I forgot. My
Here.
apologies.
Yeah.
I was most focused on your whirlwind of a sister Renee, who was my classmate.
Oh,
But tell us what that was like coming into that family, and what your childhood was like.
well, I come from a strong line of, very strong women in my family.
Amen.
We all mostly have servants' hearts, and we love to give to our community, love to be a part of our community. We are just a big, huge, loving family. I was raised by a wonderful mother. She had polio when she was 2, and she was paralyzed from the waist down. And she lost my dad when he was 30. And so she had to raise 3 children on her own and go back to school while she was raising us. So she really is my hero of my origin story. And there were times that she would fall trying to get used to her crutches and braces, and her mother wouldn't go and run. My mom Evelyn wouldn't run and pick her up because she wanted her to learn to get back on her own, get back up on her own. And that is definitely the lesson I learned from my mom is, hey, we're going to all fall sometimes, but we have to get back up.
Well, she is an inspiration because we saw it as kids, and she was such a tiny woman too. So to see this tiny woman on this big old crutches, but like you, she's got that sunshine in her too, right? Because I've visited your home many times to visit your sister, and she was just always so pleasant. And I can't imagine how hard it is to get through a day with those limitations. But she always had a smile on her face, a kind word for any person, stranger and friend alike. And of course, she raised these wonderful children. And we'll hear more about you and your siblings later. Before we do get into that, though, I do want to share a comment here. Abby Ross, right out the gates here, says, my girl Emily. So Abby's come on to say hello. Abby, we appreciate you doing that. And it gives me an opportunity to say to those of you that are watching us live on Facebook, as you can see, we have the ability to share your comment with Emily. So if you just want to say hi or share something encouraging as Abby has, feel free to do that. Or if you have a question later in the show, we'll be talking real estate. If you want to know anything about that, chime away and just join us. We love to keep the comments flowing here. And as your host, I do my best to try to connect you to our viewers. We're here with Emily Bougere Hatfield, talking about kind of growing up, the strength of Miss Marcy, overcoming polio. So let's get into the house now. You got these siblings. As I mentioned, my classmate Renee, just dynamic, loud, proud, going at 100 miles an hour at all time. Your older brother Philip was a star athlete, a pole vaulter, as I recall.
Yes.
Also a great guy. What was life like at batting third in that batting order of the four kids you mentioned?
Well, Carrie came later on, so I got to be the baby the majority of my life.
Mhm.
And so my brother would take up for me, and we would kind of gang up on Renee. And so it was lots of fun to have a big brother. I wanted to be
Okay.
exactly like my big brother. I wanted to play baseball. I was the only girl on the baseball team for a little while in
Oh,
Ponchatoula.
that's
They
cool.
separated. Yeah, Jeff Lusher has a picture somewhere. Our
That's
Kevin
neat.
Rayford, one of them. They'll
Neat.
show me the picture every now and again. And then later on, another girl joined the team as well. And so I was coached by some really amazing fellows and got to play with some amazing guys. I wasn't the greatest at baseball, but it was my dream. But I
That
was
was a
a
proud
girl.
tradition back in the day before Ponchatoula had a softball league out there at Pard. Those few brave girls that wanted to play had to play baseball with the boys. And sometimes the players were truly great. I think of Stephanie Wald first and foremost, who, was probably the best player on our team a few times. And sometimes they were just out there for fun and giggles.
Yeah,
And
that wasn't me. I was a flower picker in left
yeah,
field. That was
yeah,
my personality.
that's great. I love it. Well, thank you for sharing that detail. You've got some more comments coming. I got to say, I can't remember getting 3 comments this quickly out the gate. So
Wow.
you've got some fans. Lacey Gill Yarbrough, thank you for chiming in.
One of
She
my
says
great
hi.
friends.
Yeah, she's wonderful. And Casey Jimmy Wilkinson, they also
Hey,
say
Casey.
hello.
Yes, one of some of my
Okay.
really great friends.
Yeah, well, you got some good ones. So Lacey's expanded her comment here to say she has a question. I know how much you love Strawberry Festival, and I bet you do as the queen and former mother of a former queen and former mother of a queen. What's your most favorite memory of the Strawberry Festival this year and a past memory? That's a great question, Lacey. So to the queen herself, we're asking Emily about the Strawberry Festival.
Yeah, so my favorite memory ever, of course, is Avery being queen. I cannot even
I bet.
probably pick a memory from that year. It was just so surreal to see her as queen and to watch her follow my footsteps because it meant so much to my family. And so to
And
see
she did
her,
such a great job. I mean, she was kind of the consummate, queen. She had brought enthusiasm and joy to everything. I mean, she's a great ambassador for our town and for the festival. You must have been proud.
I'm so proud of her. And so she was definitely, I mean, the whole year was just unbelievably exciting and fun and just surreal. And I loved, she's my favorite memory.
Well, that's great.
Um,
One of my favorites of that year was they published a photo of her with my wife Brandy, who I
yeah,
think maybe was your roommate at the time, or
yeah.
maybe not, but certainly y'all are longtime friends. But Avery was what, like a little baby or the tiniest of girls, and my wife was then queen, and Avery was like the little, what do they call them, the child queen or the little queens, or wanted to be queen, and it was so neat because it revealed she wanted that her whole life. She wanted to be like her mama and mama's friend Brandy, and that was so cool.
Yes, it was really my favorite. I mean, I can't pinpoint a memory. The whole year was just fabulous.
Yeah, that's
So,
cool. Well,
and
Lacey,
this
thanks for
year,
asking that. And I know you intended that question for Emily, but I'm just going to share that my favorite Strawberry Festival memory is when Emily introduced me to my wife at the
I was
Strawberry
hoping you'd say that.
Festival. It's one, every year I try to work the Friday shift at Rotary because that's the day of the festival in 2010 when you and Brandy were there and you introduced me to Brandy, and we went out for the first and second time a week later and have been together ever since. But it's fun now to bring my boys there. So each year we bring Luke and James back, and they ride rides and grab lunch and kind of horse around. And this year James actually volunteered to help me with working Rotary a little
Oh,
bit.
how
Although
sweet.
at this point his version of help is like 60% drinking lemonade, eating jambalaya, 40% working. But it's a nice start. But many years later, many thanks That's the biggest blessing in my life, and I owe my marriage and children and happy life to you, Emily. So thank you.
That was
We
too
have a
easy
lot
to set up.
I'm sorry.
I said that was too easy to set up.
Let me get a few more comments going here. We've got Christy Jewel Preston says,
Hey,
"Hey,
Christy,
um,
another great friend.
yeah." Oh, here we go. Casey Jimmy Wilkinson again says,
Oh,
"What
goodness,
year?
Casey.
What what year were you queen?" Now
It was
this
a
is
long, long time ago. I am queen number 27.
yeah. So, folks, we're not gonna say the actual year. You have to do the math. All I can
2017.
tell you is it's impossible. And when you work it out, the number you get, it's gonna seem wrong. It is wrong. Emily's not that old. Um, oh, Clint Hatfield, your amazing husband, lifelong friend of mine. He says watching Avery Service Queen was a highlight of his life as well. Wow,
Yes.
nicely said, Papa Bear. That's the stepdad of the year answer there. I know Avery must be so grateful. Tell me, what's it like? Obviously, Avery's got her own father, Jeff, who loves her dearly. What's it like to have a guy like Clint Hatfield come into your life and embrace your daughter and love her to the point where her success and her triumph, is the consummate success of his life too? I mean, what's that mean to you, Emily? How's it make you
Oh my
feel?
goodness. I never thought somebody could love me as much as my mom does. And he really does come very close to that kind of love. Like he loves me so much. And he loves Avery so much. And so I'm so grateful that he came back into my life because we did date when we were younger.
Oh, really? Come
So
on, that's cool.
yeah, when I worked at Six Star Video,
I see. I
that's
never
where
knew that. So,
that's where he came in and hit on me, and I had no clue he was hitting on me. He
yeah.
picked a movie out that was apparently out. It said "Sorry, We're Out" kind of thing,
Uh huh.
and he came in and he said, "Hey, I want this movie." And I'm like, "Okay." And he's writing down all the numbers. He wrote down his mom's number, his dad's number, his grandpa's number, and his
Right.
beeper number. Not to tell you all
No,
I got.
the beeper.
And I
Wait,
was like, this guy
Clint, I
really
got to
wants to
know,
see
was
this.
it the see-through beeper or was it what kind of beeper did he have, man? They
I
were,
was oblivious because I thought he just really wanted the movie.
I
So
love it. I love it.
So the movie, he left and he said, "Okay, I really want to see this movie. Let me know when it comes in." I said, "Okay, that's fine. I will, Clint. Bye." So a few minutes later, the movie comes in and he comes back to get it. I started with all the phone numbers he left. And so he
Yeah.
comes back and gets the movie. And I was like, "Okay, thanks, Clint. Have a good day. Good to see you." And he turns around and he says, "Hey, this is going to give our age away too. I just got this new VCR for Christmas. You want to come watch it with me?" And I was like, "Okay."
Nice.
So yeah, we started dating when we were younger, and then went our separate ways. He moved to
Yeah.
California. I
Yeah, he
lived
went
my
to
life.
work for the federal government and
That's
and,
right.
and working all over the world, kind of. That's cool. Well, I
Right.
always love a story like that. My best friends are Will and Angelique Richardson, and their
Yes, I
story is
love
very
them.
similar. It's a love story that begins with him as a ninth grader asking her as a seventh grader to homecoming, and her dad wouldn't let her go. So it's both of y'all have a real kind of similar rock solid return, and that's really cool. You've really got the comments coming in here. I don't know if we get to a real interview. Um, says again here,
So look,
this
I'm trying not to read.
is Joel Preston. What is the food that you have always looked forward to eating at the Strawberry Festival? That's a good one.
Oh, absolutely, 100% the funnel cake. And when I was Strawberry Queen, it was $3, and I really believe that they should still serve it to me for $3.
What's it
I have a
cost now?
picture.
I have no idea.
I don't know. Clint bought it this year, so I don't know what it's up to now.
Yeah,
But
that
man,
was
I have to eat
that,
a funnel cake.
that was always the treat at our house. My mom would get us funnel cakes on Sunday when I was a kid, and we thought that was the best.
And then, of
Let's
course,
see
as many
here.
strawberry things as you can, as many strawberry items possible, of course.
Lacey says Caston also has a question. Shout out to Caston. Caston, I promised we were going to get to you in progress of this interview. But it says you still are just as beautiful as the reigning queen. How do you do it? Oh, this is perfect because I had in my notes to ask about.
It's Avery. Yes, this is Avery.
Okay. So Avery, your daughter, works at 22 Aesthetics. So yeah, let me give it a
Exactly.
solo shot here. Remove the quote. You do look 20 years, 30 years younger than you are here. Tell us about the regimen.
You.
It starts with call up 22 Aesthetics. Ask
That's
for
right.
Avery.
Call
Right there,
Avery.
Highway 22. family-owned business. She works with your cousin, and then when
Kristen,
you go to
yeah.
them, what do you ask Avery to do once you get there? What's the routine?
She will do a skin consult with you and kind of see what your goals are, and then you can
Hmm.
go from there. But I mean,
Awesome.
Avery will pull me aside at home and be like, "Mom, I have got to do this. Like, sit down." And I'm just okay. But I'm grateful to have her help. She makes sure I'm always in a good light. So
That's great. Abby Ross has shared that her favorite thing about the Strawberry Festival was getting the fried chocolate covered strawberries. So that
those are so good, so good. Love them too.
Clint, thank you for knowing the current price of the funnel cake, $10. And then my final comment for now, before we
Hey,
return to a
Mark.
real interview, is our buddy Mark
Oh,
Verbois,
I love Mark.
um,
Hey, how you doing?
our pal from PHS. He says that Emily and her family are some amazing people, falling not far off that Abear family tree set, some strong Ponchatoula roots, and continued love for the city. He loves Miss Marcy, Emily, Clint, and all of them. Well
Oh,
said, my
that's so
friend.
sweet. Thank you, Mark.
Mark, what do they say? It takes one to know one. Good people hang together. So let's get back to you, Emily. We've had some great quotes. And folks, keep them coming. If you have more, I'll get to another batch later. But for now, I want to circle back. We're with Emily Bougere Hatfield, part of the big A Bear family we've talked about, wife of Clint Hatfield, um, mother to Avery and Caston. And we're talking about your childhood and coming up and what an inspiration your mom was, overcoming polio. She was a success as a professional at PHS, personal life, beloved in the community, raised all you kids. You guys all did well. Who are other influences? You come from such a strong family. There's so many great people to look to. I guess it's what, five or six aunts, one uncle, tons of
Yes.
cousins, and great grandparents. But who were other influences in your life when you were a child and helped you become the woman you are today?
Really, I mean, my family's so strong. We have such a strong history and just, some things that have happened in our lives that you had to be strong for. And so they were
Hmm.
just excellent teachers to teach me how to become stronger. And then other influence too, of course, teachers at Ponchatoula High School. I love Miss Summers and Mr. Wilson. They
Oh
really
yeah,
helped me
really great.
build confidence in singing and speaking publicly.
Yeah,
Two fabulous people that I will love forever. And of course, my mom, she's wonderful. She didn't teach me, but like she kept me in line at Ponchatoula High School.
she was there. Something tells me you jumped into her classroom from time to time, and she was
Yep.
looking out for you. But I love that you mentioned Miss Summers because is such a brilliant woman,
Mm-hmm.
was such a wonderful teacher, particularly for what you mentioned, public speaking. When I had to give my 12th grade graduation speech as president of the class of 95, I'm going to tell you, my knees were knocking. I was nervous as heck, but she helped me get through that process, helped me write, a good enough speech, and helped me not pass out or fall down or really blow it. And I'm forever grateful for that. And she was great in the classroom, witty as hell, just kind of a really wonderful woman. And
She is
then, like
incredible.
you, she has kind of a big time other side of her in her younger life. Some people know this. She went on a date with Elvis Presley when
What?
she was
She didn't tell me that.
yeah, she's very humble about it. You have to pull it out of her. But listen to me, Queen. She dated the king. This happened.
I'm
So
not surprised at
trust me.
all.
It was pretty cool. So let's talk next chapter of life. So you come up, childhood, family, PHS, super strong foundation. What do you learn in the next chapter of life, and then what do you want to talk about in those days of early adulthood?
In early adulthood, surprisingly, I gained a servant's heart, like my family. So my grandfather was state representative for 24 years. He helped
Hmm.
put on the first Strawberry Festival. He helped do so much for the community of Ponchatoula and surrounding areas as well. And so I basically then my parents took that. They became Ponchatoula JCs and Janes.
Right.
And so one thing that I love to mention about my dad, because I never really get to talk about my dad, is the beautiful flagpole that you see in the middle of town. Him and Gary Stanga are the ones that got that for our town.
Well, tell us how that
So,
happened because it's like record-breaking height. It's a
yes,
huge source of pride. We just sent out our newsletter, and there we are. We've got the Minutemen and the people of the town putting it together. It is a source of pride here.
it
But I'll
is.
admit, I've been here the whole time, and I don't really know the story of how we got it. So Please share
My
with us how your dad and
my
Gary.
dad, yes. So my dad and Mr. Gary Sting, they were best friends, and they worked for, at the time it was South
South
Central
Central
Bell.
Bell.
Yes, thank you. And so they asked for the pole and then received it. And then, of course, you know the story of my grandmothers and my grandma and my aunts and their good friend
Mhm.
making the flag, the huge
Yeah,
flag.
they were, what was it, Betsy Ross? They were the Betsy Rosses of Ponchatoula. Yeah,
Yes. So I
that
had
was a
some really big shoes to fill. I don't think I could ever fill their shoes, but I try to just get little spurts of
well,
gifts.
I would say you're doing it, absolutely filling their shoes, and living up to the family, motto and hype. And no, don't give yourself credit. You absolutely have, and not just on your own, but in the kids that you're raising, because
Yes.
both of them have servants' hearts and are just wonderful. Young adults and a young adult and older child, I guess, just wonderful kids. So you do that, you kind of turn that corner, and then you have Avery, who's this beautiful, wonderful woman, now, but
She
used
did.
to just be the cutest kid in the world. What lessons did you learn as a young mother as you're kind of on this journey?
Oh goodness. So Avery, I always say with Avery, I was the young mom, and now with Caston, I'm the old mom. So it's like having two only children, really. And she really taught me a lot. She taught me
I would
how
say
to.
they get two different moms, but you look the same for each age. I don't know how that works.
I don't feel the same though. I'm tired now. But I'm just like, Caston, okay, you can just, what? Yes. Yes, yes. With Avery, I was a little more strict, but Caston, I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Sure. But yeah, Avery was a gem. She just, even from being little, she's always been just the cutest little thing and just very much her own self. Always knew she was going to be a singer. She always wanted to be Strawberry Queen. And she's just a joy. And then Caston, he's
Really,
a joy as well. He's extremely intelligent. Both of them are extremely intelligent.
absolutely.
Caston can debate. He can debate anyone on any topic, and
Yeah.
it's he gets you to think outside the
Mhm.
box in a different way. He's such a unique, he has a unique brain, and he's just so talented.
Well,
He's
he
a lot
just
of
seems
fun.
to be like a giver too. I watched him interact with my little boys, who are considerably younger, and most kids Caston's age, and probably I would say 4 out of 4 Larison boys, the kids I knew best at that age, would want to blow off little kids that are that much younger and just be like, get out of my way. Let me get back to my, whatever phone. But he puts genuine time and effort and energy and attention into these little kids. And, whether it's, teaching them things about the video games they're yapping about or just, how to act. And anyway, you and Clint are doing a great job. You're raising a
Thank
fine young
you.
man there. And y'all clearly did that with Avery. Whoa. Speaking of Avery, the queen has shown up
Oh,
herself.
hey, baby.
Hey, she says, "Go, mom. Love you so very much. Your Majesty, you've been here. You've done this before. You know the drill. We are very honored to have you back, and very honored to be talking to your mom. We are, of course, here, folks, with Emily Bougere Hatfield, like her daughter Avery Myers, the former Strawberry Queen. We've been talking strawberry family, all that. Let's dig into what you do now because you are in a field, real estate, that I think while it's one of the most common things in the world, in that we all live in it, need it, we're constantly in the presence of it, no matter whether we're at school, work, church, whatever. We want
Right.
to pick a property that's worth something that was at some point sold and will some point be bought, whatever. But even for people like us, me, older, having owned a few properties here, there, not in my first house, it kind of remains a mystery to a lot of people. And there are a lot of big mistakes you could make that can just kind of ruin your net worth or your family's wealth or, just a lot of quality of life or other things. So I guess first, let's talk about how you got into it. And then in a bit, maybe we could talk about ways that you help people and, big mistakes to avoid things like that. But how did you become a real estate agent and take us through that journey?
Sure. So I started off in the corporate world, and I worked in banking originally, and then
Mhm.
I moved over to the food industry, which was Subway franchise company. I was a field consultant for them for many years. I became a corporate instructor for them, and then I switched over to McDonald's Corporation. I was a corporate instructor for them, and when I worked for them, I traveled really a whole bunch. So it was exhausting to travel, and I just really wanted to be home near my kids. And so I've always loved real estate and helping other people. So I thought that was a good fit for me, and it has been for over 10 years now.
Yeah, that's cool. So you're working for, the two biggest food chains in America, some of the biggest corporations in the world. And you go from something that's truly international to something now that's truly local, right? I mean, what's
Right.
more local than selling a house around the corner to your friend from up the street? So, anybody who ever knew you would say, yes, of course, Emily's got the perfect personality for that. But because I think everybody sees to succeed in real estate, you have to be good with people. I would imagine that's a necessity. What most of us
Absolutely.
don't understand probably or see is the tenacity, the work ethic, the long, long days and nights and messages in the middle of the night. So how do you get good at it? I mean, when you decided to do it, you jump into it,
Just
you pull the
smile.
trigger, you just smile. Yeah. What
Yeah.
was your journey like, and what were some lessons you learned along the way?
Well, I try to make real estate look really glamorous, but I have been chased by snakes multiple times. I have tried to dig a trench in stilettos. So I will
No.
go the extra mile for my client. I have jumped a fence and got my leg caught in between the slats. So it does look glamorous in pictures, but that is the reality of real estate. And I just like to call it an adventure. I
Dude,
love real estate. I love helping people, and
I'm
finding
just
their home is such an honor to be
I'm
able to
just
do that.
loving the like commercial or social media possibilities of these photos of you like done up perfect, hair, face, everything looking great,
Over a fence.
Avery at 22 Aesthetics, but muddy stilettos, you're like the you need hip boots down low to get the job done, but you
Sometimes you do.
the queen up top. That's funny. So let's talk about real estate. So I would imagine the most common thing people do around here in real estate is a home, and that would range from first-time home buyers to investment property owners. There's of course the commercial property thing going too, but if people are listening and might have a real estate need, let's start kind of down low with the first time home buyer types, the real novice. Why should they contact you, do it early? Tell us kind of the benefits because I've only had two homes in my 49 years, so I don't pretend to be an expert. But I can tell you what I learned each time I buy a house is I don't know crap about it. And there are
Every
lots
transaction is different.
yeah, and they're traps for the unwary, that can cost me a lot of money if I screw up or cost me the
Right.
deal. So what are some lessons young people, or even if they're not young, new to real estate people ought to know if they're looking at buying something for the first time?
I always have a motto, people over profit. That has been my motto since I started. So if you really, really focus on people, your heart naturally follows with what their needs are, and their needs can be met better. So with my first time home buyers, I really, I will break it down for them step by step and make sure they understand every part of the process because it is overwhelming to purchase your first home. So I'm very, very cautious and just very loving to our first time home buyers and even to seasoned home buyers because they forget it's been 5, 6, 7 years, things change, laws change. So
Yeah.
I like to just go over everything very gently and step by step with people, but people over profit is always my goal.
Yeah, well, for me, I think it was 22 years between homes, So I certainly what little I learned on round one was long forgotten on round
Right.
two. So you make a good point. Um, what else would you say about real estate before we exit the topic of real estate? Or is there anything else people should know about you, about the industry, about
Well,
what we need to do?
it's really heating up right now. So if you need to sell right now. I actually have 3 contracts I have to write when I get home tonight. So if that tells you anything about
Wow, that's great. Congrats. I know
now.
you've probably been underfed for a while with these terrible rates and tough markets. So congrats on that.
Thank
And
you.
folks, if you're not paying close attention, what that means is your girl's got game. She can sell a property. If you got something that needs selling, bring it to her. If you want to buy, come find her. She can help you find the
Right.
deal. That's great to know. So what might people be what would be misunderstood about the world of real estate? Like to people on the outside that don't watch it that closely or haven't really bought, what would people maybe think? Oh, because some people might be looking at this as a potential career, and maybe they can learn from you something that either makes them better at it if they are going to pursue it, or lets them know it's not what everybody says it is, because there's a lot of TikToks out there, become a real estate millionaire. But what do you think are some common misunderstandings about your job in particular and the industry of real estate in general?
It takes a lot of grit. It takes a tough shoulder. Every transaction is different. It is not glamorous. It might look glamorous in pictures, but it is not. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of behind the scenes paperwork and negotiations that people don't tend to see. I don't let my clients see all the stuff, all the icky stuff that they don't want to see. They see the pretty stuff. They see the things that, oh, okay, that's done. Check. They like to check boxes. So I'm trying to make sure everything's as smooth as possible. Everybody understands the process, and the bad stuff is in the back house, and nobody.
I love to
has
hear
see
you say
unless
that,
necessary.
because we approach our injury law practice the same way. It's like they're going through so much. They don't need to know the drudgery and the challenges. And
Right.
sometimes the client will show up at the end of their case when the money's there, and they'll be like, "Oh man, you're getting paid a lot for 3 times I talked to you in the last whatever." And it's like, I'm okay if they have that misapprehension, because I'm like,
Right.
I don't want to burden them with every little step along the way.
Mm-mm.
That they're paying you good money. If you can help them avoid a headache, you should. A few more quotes have come in here I want to share with you. Our friend Cherie Kinchin Wells. Hey,
Hey, Reed.
another young lady who's born into a family that's been here 100 years. She says, "Hello, beautiful." And she also
Aw.
says she's loving the people over profit thing. So
Aw, thank you.
that's really cool. Clint chimed in and says he'll get dinner started so you'll have those contracts to write. Man, husband of the year, Clint.
Thank you.
I'm loving it. That does remind me too to look at the clock and notice. I promise you that I get you out of here at about 30 minutes, and we're at the 32-minute mark. So I want to respect your time. I want to thank you for
Thank
your
you so
time.
much.
Staying a little later. But before I let you go, Emily, is there anything else on your mind, on your heart, just anything at all that you'd like to share with our viewers, our listeners, and the people here in the Ponchatoula community?
It was a great interview, Parker. I thank you for having me. And the people of Ponchatoula are wonderful. You just got to just do your part over here, try to serve where you can. And that's really the best advice I can give anyone that has just moved here.
She was articulate and beautiful as Queen 27. And a few years later, here we are. She's still got it, folks. Thank you to Emily. And Emily, on this last quote, Abby Ross says she loves you. And
Love
Abby,
you
I
too.
think that's a great quote to end on, because Ponchatoula loves you. I love you. Please give my best to Clint and the kiddos. I hope y'all do well. And to our viewers and our watchers, thank y'all for sticking with us. We're going to say goodbye at this time, but we'll be back next week.